Good evening, everybody. I look like I have been through the war. I got to figure out how to change this doohickey-bobber to be left and right. I know there's a way to do it. Let me go post our link on the website here. Website is denverguitarorchestra.com, and Thursday nights are opportunity for us to get together. Everybody who has a job and can't come during the week, weekday classes, who comes in Thursday nights. And on Thursday nights we only play tough stuff. We play all the level 4 and above songs, and so the stuff we work on in the evenings is challenging. And so let's go through here and make sure the link is working properly, and then we'll get started with all of our fun. So it's pulling up the wrong cover on there. Hit reload. That should not be coming up that way. Yeah, that's what should be coming up. Okay, so that's coming up just fine. And when you guys get logged in, let me know how the sound is working on your end. HTTPS://denverguitarorchestra.com pops up, and then I like to put on our logo on there, so now we are tweeted, and close that down. And alright, so tonight we are playing the Beatles, and I'm gonna go pull up our playlist here. So, as we have in the last few weeks, we're going to play Blackbird, Here Comes the Sun, Norwegian Wood, Penny Lane, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and Yesterday. And I posted All My Loving, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and Obladi Oblada. I think tonight probably we're going to just be working on the Beatles stuff. We do have a super secret song, and to be perfectly honest, I didn't get a chance to look at it very seriously this week, and so I don't think we're going to work on that at all. So, let's see, how am I looking? Looks like I got a big old shadow on my face. Where's that coming from? Well, whatever. Who cares? Alright. Hello. My name's Gary. Vic is here. She says sound is good. Vic's in from Eugene, Oregon. Elizabeth is in. Sound is good. She's in from northern Colorado. Bill is in from Denver here. Let's go ahead and play. Let's play a couple that we've had around. I guess I already have a tuner on. Let's play a couple that we've had around for a little while. Get our guitars warmed up. Alright, sounded okay. You always know when you start, when you've reached the point where you no longer have to tune your guitar every day, that it's time for new strings. And I am definitely there. Funny when you play your guitar a lot that you have to change your strings a lot. Let's see, guitar tonight. Evelyn is in from Ecuador. Hi, Evelyn. Good to see you. There's static, some type heater noise in the background. Yeah, so let me turn off the humidifier. And my heater is actually on at the moment, so you may be hearing that, but I did turn off the humidifier, so that might help, Evelyn. And Aaron is in. Hey, Aaron. Aaron sent me very nice. He's into Norwegian Wood. He's been playing that a little bit and feeling like it's a pretty decent arrangement. Good to see you, Aaron. Let's go play Blackbird. It's a short one. Let's get it over with. Well, not get it over with. Let's play it first and see how it goes. Alright. Not too fast. In fact, rather slow. And remember, when we get to that page 2, last week at measure 15, that second E chord, the second chord, the only E chord in measure 15. I'm going to add a beat onto that. So you're going to be playing fly, and then let that ring for 2 beats. And so let's let that E chord at the end of 15 ring for an extra beat, and it'll probably sound better that way. Let me put my foot pedal going. And how is everybody tonight? Are we all doing good? I have about 4 more Beatles tunes that I'm cleaning up. 2 are already fully written, and 2 that I know I'm going to be writing, which will bring our total Beatles up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's up to 13. And so I'd really like to get to 20. That's the number I always shoot for when I'm writing music. I think I finally made it. You made it, Aaron. Congratulations. This technology is hard on you young whippersnappers. All right, Blackbird. From the top, not fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Back to the back up. Come on, Pinky. Number 5, one last time through, go. rough start there. Not too bad. You know what? It's a tough song. I would say that boy, for me, measures 12 through 17 really are going to take it to some pretty serious work to get going on that. It'll be worth it, but yeah, definitely plan on some challenges through there. Arlo made it in. Finally got the CPU to respond. All of us are dealing with computer issues these days. What are you going to do? It's part of the activity. Let's see. Tico Tico no Fuba. Let's see. Arlo caused a firestorm of controversy earlier this week. He came into ukulele class, and I was talking about mandolins, and Arlo said the word pick in the ukulele class, and I lost my mind. And he's like, "Yeah, I try to play a mandolin without a pick." And you're like, "Well, I know we got to use a pick to play a mandolin, of course." And so I know certain styles of guitar you use a pick too, but we don't talk about them. Right? We sneak around with them. We have them. You know, I got a pick sitting right there. But we don't let anybody know we actually use them. Let's play the song one more time. I do want to clean it up just a little bit if I can, and let's see how we do. Gary and all in the chat, beautiful playing. Oh, thanks, Warren. Warren is in from Australia. So good to see you, Warren. And let's do Blackbird one more time from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, keep going. Back to 5. definitely got to have a glissando on it for sure. I want to walk through it because I don't think I played it right yet, and I do want to think about it here just a little bit for a second. Measure 12, C chord with your pinky, right? We do that all the time, no biggie. Then switch to the A minor. You only just got to drag your ring finger down and add your pinky on to get the 3. And then this is what I keep blowing. I got this is an F chord, right? So I should theoretically be able to slide it right here. Okay, so that's what I'm doing wrong. So all I gotta do, I'm sitting in this A minor with the 3. I just gotta push these guys up to make an F chord right above that 3. And then drop back to a G. C chord with the pinky. A minor with the pinky. Move your other fingers up to an F chord. It's really an E chord above your pinky is what it feels like. And then that last thing is then slide these back. Yeah, and then let that ride for just a minute. In fact, let's just put a fermata over the top of that rather than even more than 2 beats really. It feels like about 3 beats there. And then give you time to go. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to give you my solution here, and you guys can decide if it's helpful or not. Warn your I'm pretty zen. To be honest, I'm a pretty zen guy. It takes me quite a little bit to get me worked up. When I do get worked up, I'm always sad that I got worked up. Right? I think there's so few things in life that should turn you into a maniac. I do become a maniac once in a while, and that's part of me I don't like. So yeah. So no, I'm pretty zen overall, probably. Right, guys? Right? Those of you guys who know me, you usually be like, yeah, he's okay. All right. Here's my final solution on this. Okay, 12, measure 12. C chord with the pinky, A minor with the pinky. Move this A minor shape up above as if it's an E chord on the wrong frets, and then do a G chord, C chord, pinky, A minor with the pinky. This up as if you're an E chord. Slide it back to the F, to the E, and then let that ride for a minute while I'm getting up to 10, 8, 5, bar, 5, 5, 3, 1, D chord, G chord, D chord, and then call them up to the 10 and strum it. That's going to work. Okay, so this is just so I think the note I'm going to write to myself is 3. Hold the 3 steady. I don't need to write a note there. That's what you need to do. That makes sense to me. Let's see. Yeah, we did add a beat. Yeah, thanks, Christy. Yes, I think that E needs at least a beat, possibly 2. So I think probably smarter, Christy. Let's just put a fermata over the top, and then when we get back together to all of us to play. Blackbird fly blong, blackbird fly blong, into the light of the dark black night. So we'll actually conduct the into part. So yeah, thanks for that. William says yep. yeah, you're all right. Yeah, it's all, let's talk about Gary tonight. Let's forget this Beatles stuff. All right. let's move on. Beautiful little piece. Let's go play Here Comes the Sun. That's one of the easier ones, I think. Henry has decided he wants to sit and listen to guitar. I'm not going to let him in. He will make a big fuss, and then he won't really hang around anyway. So Here Comes the Sun on guitar. Elizabeth will be mad I'm not letting Henry come into the room. All right. On this one, my only note is in the very last couple of measures there. Arlo's been playing him in fifth position. I haven't taken time to write those out for fifth position, so we'll go with what's there, and then when I have a minute, I'll go through and take a look at what Arlo's doing on the last little beat there. Let's give it a go. Not fast again. This is supposed to be quite a bit faster than the last song, but this one we're still learning it, right? So from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. do we think? What do we think? It's kind of all over the place a little bit in certain places, but I think it plays okay. I really do. Now, obviously, that center section from 19 to 35, 36, somewhere in there, well, really 19 to 39, pretty challenging, right? But the rest of it, yeah, and it's kind of, it sounds like the song. I'm pretty pleased overall with just the way its playability. Got plenty of work to do to get my fingering figured out. But yeah, I like it. I think that's going to be fine. So let's see. Aaron says, I find myself plucking oftentimes instead of strumming with just my thumb. It's interesting. I've been working on that with the daily, every day. Well, my personal guitar as well as with the daily group. Strumming sometimes, plucking sometimes, and what I am finding is, for myself anyway, certain songs or even certain moments within certain songs really lend themselves to one thing or another. With the Blackbird, I've been playing it with more plucking. I feel like I'm getting more out of it that way. This song, I like the lush smooshiness of it. I'm tending to play with my thumb. I think, obviously, guys, we're fingerstyle players. We're not classical players necessarily. In classical, you kind of get told what to do, right? Here's the notes. This is what you're supposed to do. Just do it. And the reason they do that is then they can line everybody up in a row and everybody can play it exactly the same way. And then you find the best guy and then you work with that guy. And the other ones, you just, you hope that they go over to the trumpet department. And then we take that best guy and we take all the other schools and we find their best guy and we line them all up in a line and we do it over again until we find the best guy. But we're fingerstyle player. We don't do that. The only guy we're competing against with is the guy we were last year, and that guy couldn't play at all, right? The guy you were a year ago, he was terrible, right? The person you are today is the one that we're playing with, and that person can make those decisions. In fingerstyle, if you watch some of these guitarists these days on YouTube, I mean, they are not shy about using all of the tools. Sometimes they're going to be strumming, sometimes they're going to be plucking. They do a lot of plucking, almost as much plucking as classical players. Whatever is going to make the story go well, make it come out of your guitar the best way you can make it come out. I'd say there's no rules on that. I find the way that makes it sound best for you, and then I give you these. I write these out because I want you to have an easier go at tackling the song. But certainly, you should never feel like you're obligated to play what's on the page. In fact, one of my private students the other night, last night I think it was. Struggling through this one section. I said, well, let's just change it. And it actually involved changing the notes that he was playing in order to make it more playable. And it's fine, right? I'm not going to, Bach isn't going to come and arrest me and throw me in Bach jail, And we found a solution that was more playable and sounded just fine. So yeah, I think that's one of those things that you should do. Play it with your claw, play it with your thumb, mix them up, try to find the best solution you can for this song. And it may be different than what I do, and that's absolutely encouraged. So yeah, nice. JEL, welcome in. This sounds okay. That's good to see. Good to see you, JEL. Jim is in. That was pretty cool. Well, let me tell you, you guys may not know Jim because he comes during the day for ukulele class, but Jim is a fine musician, and Jim lives, get this, northern Alberta, Canada. So you go up to the top of the United States, and then you cross the border, and then you go to the top of Canada, straight north from Denver. That's where he lives. And so when I ask for people during the day, I say, log in, tell us where you're from and what the weather's like. And he's always like, yeah, it's a nice warm day. It's 4 degrees. Glad you're here, Jim. Let's see, Aaron, it seems like you got to strum when all three. Another thing, now know that is an arrangement decision that I make that makes it easier for me to read. I don't necessarily look at let's go find a good example. I don't know if there is a good example in this song. There's not a good example in this song, so let's just use a medium example. If you look at measure 3 and Here Comes the Sun, what I write out these days, which I think is the most helpful, is that's a G chord with the first string missing, right? So when you get there, okay, now if you're plucking, you're supposed to pluck you've got 5 strings and only 4 fingers to do it with. So normally we're going to pick the thumb and then these bottom 3 strings, and we're going to ignore the 5th string. Okay, so you ignore one of the inner strings. You want the low string because that's your root note in this case, and you need the high string because that's the melody note. And so you would just pluck but not do the 5th string there. But you might want to be like, well, that might be a place, hey, I'm plucking through the first part. And then you get there, maybe that's a place to toss in a thumb. And then go back to your plucking. Maybe, right? That might be stupid, but it might be worth trying. But if you're going to pluck it, just ignore one of the inner strings. Usually the 5th string is the one that gets ignored. Or if you happen to have like an A chord where you've got 5, all 5, I'll put my thumb on the A string. I will skip the D string, and then I'll put these 3 on, these 3 guys. Can you see those 3 guys? I'll stay down here. I tend not to abandon any of these guys. I want them to be in a clump. I feel like my playing is the safest when these are index, middle, and ring are on strings 3, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Or sometimes they'll, of course, be on 4, 3, and 2. Right? That's the safe place to be. And so there's that. And then, so you might pluck it, and just ignore one of the strings. You might strum it. Okay, and just know there's no reason at all that you have to play all of those. I put them on there because I think it speeds your visual reading along, and especially on guitar, and I'll stop talking here in just a second. On guitar, what I am finding, the more arranging I do, G chord becomes incredibly frustrating because these notes ring forever, and you've just hit them all, and who knows when they're going to stop. You're busy doing all your other stuff, and at some point you're like, God, shut up, right? And so you may find that hitting these low notes is not ideal at all. In fact, one of the tunes I put out today, there were many places where I just put 0, 0, 0, 7, and didn't ask you to play these strings at all. These strings are going to be a problem on that. The other chords that they become a problem on E minor. Well, I let off my chord, the darn guitar is still ringing, right? And that string's going to ring for a week and a half, and it's like, stop it! I don't need that noise anymore. And so, when you see a big old chord like that, be thoughtful about, is it going to make any sense for me to hit all of the strings? And sometimes it does. Most of the time, I think it helps. But sometimes you're like, no, that's enough. Cool it. So those are my thoughts on that. Let's see. Yeah, Jim should be out ice skating, right? Let's see. Aaron says, seems like I'm skipping the 5th string sort of naturally. Yeah, I think that's, especially when you're doing a lot of claw, it's pretty normal just to that 5th string. Depends on the chord, of course, but yeah. Arlo says, I think you eventually will do both with the song, and it will become second nature, and you won't even think about it. Yeah, that's what I hope, right? That you will find, you'll be moving into a section, you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to pluck a little bit, I'm going to strum a little bit, it's going to be great, and it sounds that. Yeah, and it's getting second nature. I think all of us reach that place at a different speed, so thank you for that. And if you ever need inspiration, by the way, let's pull up Norwegian Wood. Let's give that one a shot. If you ever need inspiration for all of the different ways you can approach the guitar, just go watch Eddie Van Halen, that 13-minute video that he played for Explosion that time. It's on YouTube. It's 13 minutes, and I think it says Eddie Van Halen Explosion or something like that. Just go watch it. Just watch what he does. 1 minute he has a pick, the next minute it's gone. I don't even know where it goes. He is using all of the fingers. He's using his fingernails. He's using his thumb. He's using crazy pull-up plucks and then soft, beautiful pluck. I mean, the guy is just using all of those tools, and that's for him. Obviously, he spent 20 years doing nothing but playing that electric guitar. I about said stupid electric guitar. That's all he did, right? And so if you watch all of the choices he's made, he's trying to do everything. He's trying to do all of those choices, and he's pulling it off pretty successfully. So, and then of course go watch any classical guitar player and watch their choices too. They are experts at the claw, and when you watch them do a strum, Segoviev's the funniest, like this super famous guy. When he gets to a strum, it's like, he does this weird this sort of thing, and you're like, I don't know if that sounds so good, but we don't question Segovia. He's our guy. All right, Norwegian Wood. Let's make this happen. By the way, a few of you guys are not regular attendees, and with this music, I don't leave it posted on the website because whoever owns Michael Jackson's attorneys are going to come get me for posting Beatles arrangements out on the website. So get the ones that are up there, and if you don't have them, all send me an email and I'll make sure you have them. But I don't leave them posted on the website because I don't want to be talking to them about fair use. I do believe this is fair use, is to help you guys get started and be learning to play, but but they might not necessarily agree with me on that. All right. Jim shoveling a lot of snow up there. We just had to shovel snow here in Denver today. Eddie Van Halen, Eruption. Yeah, just go. It's about a 13-minute long video, and he's all sweaty and it's kind of gross, but you watch what he's doing on that guitar and you're like, well, that's what I want to do. That's amazing, So, yeah, and you can do that on any kind of guitar. The cute part is go watch Eddie Van Halen play an acoustic guitar. It's not as good. It's really not as good. It wasn't his instrument, right? So he was definitely an electric guitar player. It's still pretty darn good, but it's not at the same level. And that's why we try to look to all different types of guitarists to learn what we're doing. Let's play Norwegian Wood from the top. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Pretty interesting here, right? 5, 6, 7, 7, 5. No, come on, Gary. 5, 6, 7. Let me get my B diminished shape on it. 5, and then we'll be ready to go. Here we go. Hit the 7. Go back up to measure 9 and go. Jump here. 42. Okay, I'd like to go back through and play the middle part. I know that I can do better. And so I'd like to go, let's play the pickup from 24 into 25. The thing that I looked up and I just didn't quite process it quickly enough, what I'm really playing there. You got your A minor back here, right? You move it up to 2, it's your B minor. Okay, and that's from level 3. The book 3 has that B minor in it. Okay, and so this is just on 5. Okay, and now you have this nice D minor up here. So if you think about it, A minor, move up 2 to B minor, move up 1 to C minor, and move up 2 to be on fret 5 for your D minor. That's going to come up, and not unimportantly, at 7 is you've got an E minor. See, so I'm positive Arlo plays this one a lot, right? This D minor is going to come up quite a bit as well. And I looked up and I saw D minor up above, didn't really process it overly much, and then I'm like, oh, now I know what I'm doing. What key is the song moving into in measure 32? Measure 32. So I looked around. So how we think about it, they don't officially change keys, but it feels like it modulates into a little bit different key feeling, right? So the song overall is in the key of D. You're playing along D, everything's happy. I once had a girl, or should I say she once had me. Okay, so you're hanging out. It's a weird modality on here, but it is in the key of D, so it's just everything's fine. When you move into 25, you're moving into a D minor feeling, which isn't typical. When you're in D, your tendency in D minor, if you're hanging around in D minor, would be to move into, D major. You would tend to move into an E minor or an F sharp minor, but they're going into a D minor, so it's not typical. And that's why a lot of times you'll see when in music there will be kind of a little bit of a measure or two of adjustment to get into the new key. This doesn't have that. It just drops out of D, and with one note, a D note, they switch it over to D minor. So then you're really playing in what feels like D minor. And again, you can double check that, right? If you're in D minor, you got E, F, G, and A. So A would be, you would expect some type of A to be resolving back to the D minor, which it does in this case. You got D minor, D minor, you have your G hanging around there, and then look what happens right before you make the turnaround. They're A7s, okay? Perfect example of what I'm talking about all the time. 1, 4, and 5 really are important pieces in this. When you see an A7, it's either going to go back to D major or D minor. You can get away with going back to either of those, and in this case, it's going to go all the way back up to the D major. So that's exactly more or less what we'd expect. But you can see just by looking at the chord, you're like, oh wait, we've modulated into D minor rather than D major, and then we go back. So that's what's going on there. They just don't change the key signature, and then all of a sudden, when you don't change the key signature, you start seeing all these accidentals show up. Measure 27 and 28. We've naturalized those F's there. Same thing, 34, 35, to make it be in the right key. That's when you start seeing accidentals, as they're sort of modulating into a new key, but not really. So let's run through just that D minor section again, just so that I can do a little better job of it. So you're going to be putting on the A minor shape bar on 5. That's what you're doing there, okay? And I went ahead and put the 3s in there on the first string to go all the way back, because you got to go all the way back anyway, so there's no point in trying to find a fun note up higher. Okay, so it's just, you got your 3 leading into this. 1, 2, 3. Just put a 2 on there and a 3 up above. It works out great. Doesn't that sound cool? 2, 3, 2, 3, and then an A7. And how I would do it, try to channel the Beatles there a little bit. Dun, 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 dun. And then a little, I guess, a little bit of extra space in there. And then back up to the measure 9. Let's play from measure 9 to the end one last time. Yeah. So, Bill, I think I got your overall answer is that we are modulating into the key of D minor, but not really. We did not switch the key. We just went with a single D note at measure at the end of 24, and then just straight up switched the key without actually changing the key signature. I probably could have, and it would have avoided a few of those accidentals, but on tablature we don't care that much. So let's play from 9 to the bottom. Let's do that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1. I was like, is it a 3 or 4? 1, 2, 3. Let's go on to 40. Let's go to 40 to finish it up. Measure 40. 1, 2, 3. Really pretty. I think Elizabeth just mentioned it. I love the C chord in this piece. What's amazing about it, when you get to the C chord, it fits in there really nicely. C chord has no business hanging around with D chord. They don't get along very well at all unless you're in the key of G. And what it's doing there, you're like, why is that there? That's not really supposed to be there, but it sounds so cool. I mean, super smart songwriting. Really, really nice job. I don't know if John put the majority of effort into that or Paul did, but that's nice. That's really, really smart songwriting. All right, let's go play Penny Lane. Penny Lane. Penny Lane ends up being harder than I wish it would be. All right, so Penny Lane, we end up talking about repeats. It just is so complicated. 0 through 8. Okay, go down through 8. You're going to come back to number 1. I wrote you a note. Go back to number 1. Now we're going to play down through 1 through 6. We're going to skip, and we're going to play 9 through 17. Okay, that's number 2. Now we're going to go back up to the top and play 1 through 8. 1 through 8. Yeah, 1 through 8 again, and 1 through 6, and so on. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to play the double top. It's the same song. It's too much. So we're going to play down through 8. Go back up the top. Play down through 6. Jump over to 9, and then we're going to skip the repeat at 17, and we're just going to finish up. So basically we're going to play the top twice and the bottom once. This song is set up where you're supposed to play it the top twice, the bottom once, and then the top 2 more times, and then the bottom once, and then the top a third time and the bottom a third time, and then finish up. It's just too much. Okay, so just treat it as if it's twice on the top, once on the bottom. Okay, and I think that'll be plenty. All right, and I haven't played this week, so hopefully it's playing okay for you guys. Let's see how we do. It's kind of hard. And again, I'm supposed to be a rather jaunty pace. In Penny Lane, there is a barber holding photographs. Showing. So that's the pace the Beatles do it at. Our pace will be significantly slower than that. Okay, grab your D chord. Let's get started. 1, 2. 3, 2, 3, 1, 1. That. Ugh. Okay, let's go back up to the top. Measure 9. And then just skip on to 18. And so ready, play. Okay, so if I were going to shorten the song up again, probably when you hit the end of 17, it says go back to number 1. Probably just take number 1, play it straight down, probably go back to number 1 a third time, and then bring it back down and skip 7 and 8 the third time and play 9 through 16. And then just remember that coda there at 16. Whatever time you've had enough of the song, then drop down onto 18 and don't play 17 at all, probably. You would play 17 if you're going to go back to 1, but don't play 17 if you're not going to go back to 1. That would be my thought. By the way, isn't that a nice song? The arrangement's good. There's one mean chord in there at measure 6, but other than that, we got a pretty compact song with lots of cool sounds in there. My guitar is like, hey, I like this song. I think the song itself is kind of, I don't know. Well, I got to stop judging. We don't. It's a lovely little tune, but I do think, man, oh man, we've got some really nice tones for your guitar in that, and really, you have one mean chord, and if you can get that's measure 6, just put your index finger on this first string, and then put what amounts to what looks like a whole lot like your D7 shape on the wrong strings in the middle ring and pinky, 2, 3, and 3. Okay. And then come back, leave your 1 there, and just come back to the A7. That's a cool. And that, again, we were talking about turnarounds and what key we're in. When you see A7 and that's a turnaround, it's a dead giveaway you're in the key of D. And if you're in D, what you're expecting is you're going to see D. You might see E minors, you might see F sharp minors. We don't see those in this song. And then we're going to see C, D, E, G's and A's, right? We got and on that first line you got D, G, and A, so that's your 1, 4, 5. And then the Beatles, they like to mess around with chords, and so they've got a D measure 3, 4, and 5. They got a D minor 7th, and a D minor 6th. And then followed by a D flat major 7th. All of those are crammed together. Something that they were pretty good at. What year did they write this? 67. So they're sort of in that head. They're really prime years of songwriting. And even though the song itself doesn't make a ton of sense, the chords and stuff are very, very cool. So hopefully you're having fun with that one. All right, let's see. Elizabeth, the melody is basically descending sort of minor. Right, I know, right? I love it when we start talking, analyzing the song, and really going through it. We get this. Well, it sort of seems like this, and sort of seems like that, right? On a side note, Norwegian Wood can be played in fifth position, A minor pentatonic. So there you go. One of the things we don't do that Arlo's an expert at. I don't tend to play up the neck. Partly because I just have never worked on it. I like the sound of a really wide open string. I love these open chords. I love not necessarily always being in charge of every string. But I do think there's some real benefit in the long term about you thinking about, could I play the song up higher on lower strings? And that's something that guys who play with a lot of bar chords and they get really comfortable with. That's a gift that you get down the road when you're no longer afraid, oh, it's a G chord. Well, I could do this G chord, or I could do this G chord, or I could do that G chord, or I could do this G chord. It's a gift you get once you are a little bit more solid in with your bar chords and knowing where all of your shapes are. And so I appreciate that, Arlo. He's always so good about thinking about, well, if we move up the neck, what would it look like? Cool. A minor pentatonic. I'm sort of against the pentatonic scale. As a pianist, I'm like, well, why would you play 5 notes when you can have 8? Let's see. An E7 shape at fret 6. E7. Oh yeah, right. So you could do that. It's E fret shape at fret 6. But don't play the top string then. Oh, nice. There you go. See, that's why we keep Arlo around. He's smarter than me when it comes, way smarter than me when it comes to bar chords. Let's see. Let's do one last thing to get out of here. I'm sick of it. For tonight, I'm sick of "While My Guitar Gently Weeps." Let's play "Yesterday," and then let me talk to you very briefly before you guys all sneak out. One, thank you for being here. It's always so good to see the night crew. Those of us in the day crew, we're getting sick of work. No, we're not. We're doing great. But the night crew, I know you guys have jobs. I know you have real life that you got to deal with, and I'm so appreciative of you being willing to stop by and say, "Hey, I'm just going to try to play a little bit of guitar this week." And so, thank you guys for being here. I want to mention very quickly, I will be pulling down the links, and I'll send out an email to the rest of the list that those songs are available, but I'll go ahead and make sure you get those pulled down off the website tonight, because tomorrow I will take the links off of the website for All My Loving, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and Obladi Oblada. I will tell you, in putting these together, I want to pull them up and make sure I'm not lying to you. All My Loving went together in about 5 minutes. It was really not a complicated song to arrange, and so I think usually what that means is it's not going to be a complicated song to play either. G chord, E minor chord, A, D7, E minor. Nothing there was particularly challenging. So I think that you'll enjoy playing that, and yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about it. Should be a pretty quick study for you. So once in a while we want a song that's not quite as hard as all the others, right? I think. I Want to Hold Your Hand. What do I want to tell you about I Want to Hold Your Hand? I have exactly the chords that the Beatles recorded it in, I think, and so this should fit your ear. Those of you who are Beatles fans from back in the day, that should fit your ear pretty closely to exactly what you're used to hearing on here. And again, not a terribly complicated song. None of these weirdo chords that are in some of our other stuff. So you should have another song there that comes together without a ton of pain and suffering. And then, of course, all of you guys probably know Obladi Oblada. Obladi Oblada ends up in beginner songbooks all the time because it is crazy, super easy. But here's the thing with Obladi Oblada. The Beatles thought they were playing reggae. This was an early attempt to do reggae music. And so you want to get You don't want it just to play it fast because it's relatively easy. What you want to do is get a little bit of Caribbean feel into there. Desmond has a barrow in the marketplace. Molly is a singer in a band. Chugga 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 chugga. Desmond says to Molly, "Girl, I like your face," and Molly says she likes it. Takes him by the hand, whatever she says. So they thought they were playing reggae. So give it a little bit of, dude to it. I think is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's wrap tonight up with yesterday. Also next week in day class, I'm going to be giving you 5 songs out of my super secret song list that are related to me needing to do an audition tape for Metro State. And so we'll have a lot more classical type sounding music next week. I will give it to you guys in the night too as well, for those of you who are working on standard notation. And then the super secret song number 3, I was going to play it tonight, but I didn't have a chance to look at it this week. I can play through it okay. Right before class I played through it, but I'm not at all impressed with my playing. So we will work on that next week. We may start from the bottom and move up. All right, yesterday we have one typo on here. There's a forward repeat at measure 16. Just ignore that. That's not a real thing. And Aaron says Michael Jackson's attorney has already called him. Hey, how come you got All My Loving posted on your website? We own that song. You owe us $5,000. Palm muting, right? Desmond has a battle in the marketplace, right? What is it, D? Desmond has a battle, da 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 dum dum, da 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 dum dum. That's what singers get to do, right? Us instrumentalists, we don't get to. We're not that cool. Yesterday, one time through, best shot. Whatever you play is what you play. Good luck. From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7. Sorry. Oh God, come on, Gary. 5, 6, 7. Where did I blow it? I totally blew it. Full stir. Alright, now let's go back to the top one last time. From measure 1, go. you know. Here's how you know when life is falling. When life is upside down, turned around backward. That song, I hit all of my C chords, which I never do, and I hit all of my F chords, which I never do, and every other chord in there was a disaster. So, so something is seriously amiss with. It's got to be global warming. That's my thought on that. It's out of control. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. Hope you're having a wonderful time. I don't hear from guitar players on the email very often, so I assume that you're doing fine. But please don't hesitate to get a hold of me if you want to chat or talk or whatever. I am. As soon as I get 2 shots in my arm, we will start talking about getting together again in small groups, probably as guitarists here in town. We're going to keep these online options available for people as we go into the summer and into the fall. So keep playing guitar and know that the stuff you do at this level 4 is crazy difficult. And so don't judge yourself on whether you can play the song or not well tonight. If I did, I would quit guitar right now. But judge yourself on, hey, did I play better than I played last year? That's the guy you got to beat. And so hopefully you're having fun with this music. I am not a huge Beatles fan, but I am enjoying putting it together, and I do appreciate. I can see why people love this stuff. It's really fun and really cool, and so we're going to end up with. My goal is to get to about 20 arrangements, and then we'll call it good. They wrote 350 songs, so I think we can probably find their 20 best, and we'll be putting them together. So there we go. I know. JEL says that's my favorite one right there. That's beautiful. Honestly, that's the song that'll be around forever. It's absolutely gorgeous. So let's see. Evelyn, good to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. It's late in Ecuador, right? Vic, thanks for being here. Pep Talks, I need them with these difficulties. Yeah, guys, please know this is the high level, right? If you paid money to go see a guitarist, this is what they'd be playing. This kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, they'd be playing it way better than I play it, of course, and they would have been practicing it for years prior to putting it on stage. So, but this is the level that pros will come in, and so, yeah, they're going to play a lot smoother, a lot better. They might add some fancier chords in there, and then they're, going to have a wider repertoire, of course. But honestly, I've been to lots and lots of guitar concerts that were free by classical guitarists that were at a level that I will never be able to do, but nobody listens to that music. The music that you pay for, you go sit and you sit down and listen to somebody who's really an amazing guitar player. This is the kind of stuff they're playing. So if you're here and not crying, you are succeeding, right? So yeah, keep it up. It is hard stuff, and it's perfectly fine just to play melody, you guys. It's perfectly fine. It gives you a really great leg up on getting the song timing and all of that together. And I think you're not wasting your time at all just by playing melody sometimes. Yeah, beautiful. So thanks, Vic. Good point. Bill, good to see you, buddy. JEL, thanks for being here. Elizabeth, you are welcome. Good to see you tonight. You're welcome, JEL. Aaron, Rick on, rock on. Aaron, thank you for Aaron and I, once in a while we have a little email back and forth, and I love it. And so thanks, Aaron. Arlo, they didn't do too bad for people who couldn't read music. Yeah. I think that might be slightly overstated. I think a lot of these top-level rockers want to tell you, oh, I don't even read music. I guarantee you Paul can read music. But maybe not at the time they were writing this. And, the fascinating thing is that you think about a lot of young composers, they mess around with their guitar till they find a cool chord, and then they stick some words on top of it, and that's absolutely how the Beatles wrote most of their songs. They got that pretty cool idea together, and then they tacked some words onto it. And you can tell when you're typing in the lyrics to these songs, you're like, they weren't even trying on this song. But they were working on getting great melodies, beautiful chord accompaniments, and man, it really worked. And so, yeah, I love the fact that that young men who don't have a ton of music theory can still make great music. These days, I think I think we're moving in a different direction now. I do think that popular music has gotten so blown up that, in order to make a name, you probably have to know more about music now than you used to. So I think it's fascinating to see what will happen with music and guitar in particular. Jim, I'm inspired to move beyond my baritone ukulele. Don't think of it as moving beyond, right? I don't ever think of guitar like that. I think of it as a different instrument. The skill set we use is very similar to ukulele. It's very similar to baritone ukulele. It's very similar to mandolin. I pulled out my old mandolin the other day. But it's a different tool set, right? So with the tablature is the same on all of those instruments, but guitar, because you've got such big chords and so many strings, requires a little bit more thoughtfulness and pre-planning and all of that than you might do on a ukulele. When I pull out mandolin, same tablature, same melodies, all that stuff. But now I'm grabbing a pick and I'm trying to do this tremolo thing, right? And so I wouldn't think of it as just like that baritone is I did everything I could with that, and I want to graduate to guitar. I have almost no students who do that. I have students who will do both, but I don't. Generally speaking, I think that part of the reason why baritone is tuned the way it is they thought, hey, we're going to teach kids on baritone, and then they're going to graduate to guitar. I don't think that really happened because complementary. Let's put it that way. I think that's the correct way to think of it. Stuff I learned on ukulele, I absolutely try on guitar. There's a lot of chord shapes that I will put into these arrangements that don't show up on my guitar chord finder. Well, that's because they're coming from ukulele chords and they make a whole lot more sense. And so, and then of course, there's plenty of stuff. Almost everything I teach on ukulele comes from classical guitar training, and so, so think of them as, here's a different way to play tonight, and so that's how I like to think of it, because I don't imagine myself ever graduating from ukulele, and the cheaper and the smaller and the weirder and the more broken down ukulele I can get my hands on, the more I love it. Meanwhile, I got a couple of guitars here that are pretty doggone nice, and I love playing those too, and so I again, think of it as, hey, I'm a musician. Whatever tool is in my lap, I'm going to take as much advantage of that as I can. And over at the shop, I have a flugelhorn. Every once in a while, I'll pull that out and knock out a couple of tunes on that. It's different, right? I got these goofy harmonicas that I play here, and I'm loving them. And so I think about it as just, this is the instrument. Here's the skill set that I have that I bring to this, and if you fall in love with it and spend enough time on it, you'll be better next year working on it than you are this year. So that's the way I approach it anyway. Aaron says, am I wasting my time on banjo? Should I just focus on my favorite instrument? No, you're not wasting your time on banjo. Here's what banjo's good for, and you know this already. Arpeggios, 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 arpeggios. You watch Steve Martin play, and of course he's a celebrity, but he's a good banjo player as well. Arpeggios, 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 right? That is a skill. When you get that high-speed arpeggio going, I think you can bring that over to guitar, and you can really, really decorate some of this stuff. And so you're not wasting your time on it. You are. It is a ridiculous sounding instrument. I think it's a little bit like these little harmonicas. You can play them okay, but you got to be a pretty good player to make one of these sound good. I think banjo's the same way. I think that you spend a lot of time making a lot of really hideous noise on a banjo before you get any good at it. But are you wasting your time? Heck no. I work on those arpeggios. The weird part about banjo, I think, is that the chords are really, really basic, and so when they're doing all of these, let me put it a different way. The problem with banjo is not that the chords are basic. The problem with banjo is the chords are only for banjo, and so you learn all these chord shapes, but they're only for that instrument, and so they don't teach you anything about being moving around to the other instruments. And whereas ukulele, guitar, and baritone ukulele all share exactly the same finger charts, and so you can get a lot more horsepower out of those other ones. And at the end of of the day, Aaron, guitar is the correct answer. But for me, piano is the correct answer, right? Piano is definitely the right answer, but it's not. But it's not the only answer. And so, heck yeah, I'm gonna mess around with all these other things too. So yeah. Banjo's it's just fun. It's not fun. It's annoying and it makes you laugh, right? Plus, I think the banjo guys are funny, right? It's fun to hang around with banjo people. They're always a little bit wild. So yeah, guitar people have a tendency to be a little more serious. I think banjo people are not that way. So yeah, so no, you're not wasting your time at all. Now, see, the electric guitar is the one you got to be careful of, right? That's like a gateway drug. You get a decent electric guitar, you need, well, the problem with electric guitars, you need at least three of them, right? You need a hard body like a Stratocaster, and then you need a jazz guitar, the big one with the great big one. You got to have one of those. If you ever get a chance to play one of those through a really sweet old fashioned amp, take it. It is. I can still remember sitting at that when I was at the guitar shop for a short time, and I'd come in early or stay late or whatever. Not late usually, but I'd come in early, and I'd get out those big old jazz guitars and run them through those old, those $2,000 tube amps that we had there, and just play. And it's just like playing butter. I mean, it's unbelievable. So you got to have that electric guitar as well, and then. I do think you need an electric. I think you need an acoustic guitar with a pickup in it. So, and pretty soon you're in $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then you have to learn how to run all your pedals, and you got to do your amp, and you got to learn about electricity and ohms and resistance and all that stuff. And pretty soon you're back to playing just an acoustic guitar. So. Yeah, but yeah, like electric guitar is amazing, but it's definitely I could tell it's just going to be like so expensive to get everything I wanted to do, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, Jim says thanks for letting me drop in. Very cool, guys. Glad you made it, Jim. Stay warm up there. Good to see you, bud. Be nice. My electric guitar is my best one. Yeah. You won't meet anybody who has spent any significant amount of time who doesn't own at least one really high quality electric guitar. At some point you're like, I'm just going to do it. This is going to be something I needed. So yeah. So Aaron, good to see you. Arlo, thanks for always. I'm not being mean about electric guitars at all. I love them, but you can I'm not doing it because I know the rabbit hole that I will go down with one of those. So, so yeah, what I want is the Gibson L5. And I don't think I want a tube amp. I saw how much work those are to keep up, but I want one of those big console amps. It's fine if it's a digital one, but and then a nice reverb pedal, a little bit of chorus on it. Those guys are stupid things. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful night. So good to see you all. Thank you for being here. I don't know who all's still hanging around, but again, just make sure you toss me an email if you have any questions. Christy, so good to always see you. We don't hear enough from you. Christy's got a pretty intense job, so she's been hard to get a hold of. But good to see you, RG. Thanks for the class. Yeah, you're welcome, RG. So good to see you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Thursday's on, and then take care. Bill, good to see you, bud. And all right, gonna pull the stream. Remember, random act of kindness if you can. Trying to do something fun for somebody. Be safe. We need 2 shots in your arm before you should be wandering the streets. We're at a level, guys, where you got to practice. You know that. Keep showing up here. I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world, but I do give you a reason to show up, right? I give you a deadline. Every Thursday night you got to play at least as good as Gary, right? If you're logged into Gmail or Yahoo, not Yahoo, YouTube, if you'll push the thumbs up button, that's supposed to help me. And there's that. Send me an email, guys. Let me know how you're surviving the pandemic, and I will see all of you guys soon. Oh, you got your first one in, Aaron. Excellent. Okay, let's get the second one in, and then I can talk to you again. No, I can't talk to you until I get my 2 in. I'm not on any list yet, so I keep telling them, hey, I'm a teacher, so maybe that'll get me in sooner. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.